Good day, computer scientists, and welcome to this training video that will show you how to visualize data using Python, Google's Colab. Now you've seen, hopefully you have seen one of my previous videos anyways, the Excel one or the Google Sheets one. Both of them do the same. Now we're going to try to do some visualization in Google's Colab. So to start this off, we need to go to Colab. I'm just going to open up the main Colab link so you can actually see how it looks like. Yours might be a little bit different. If you need a new notebook, you click on this new notebook. You might have more or less, but you should have at least. Welcome to Colab if you've never used it before. You might not have as many as I do. So mine is data visualization one. I already prepared the code for you guys to see, so we can go through this fairly quickly. All right, now there are some data that is already there. I will go over it without any issues. Okay, in Google Colab you have two types of cells. One cell is called a coding cell, and this is one of them. You can add a coding cell anytime you want. Just click on code as many times as you want, and as you can see, it says start coding or generate with AI, so you can actually ask AI. It's already built into it, so if you feel you want to get some help with it, by all means do it. Next, text. If I need to write something to explain, and what I mean by something, like I'm working on a big project and I need to have an introduction and whatever it is I'm doing and the likes, it won't be a professional layout if you use the comments. Comments are there just to comment about the code, what you're doing, but here, like the individual lines of code, but here it's like if it's a big project, what you have done, why you're using this, why you're using that concept, then you would use these text. So you have code and text. You can get either one of them anytime you want. Now, the first step in any Python program, or Colab for that matter, whether you're using Colab or whether you're using Visual Studio Code or PyCharm or any other platform, the same thing applies. You need to load the libraries that are required. In this case, I have two libraries. One is called pandas, and that will help me load the file into Python. And I am using a variable called PD. So I'm importing pandas as PD. So in my program, anytime I say PD, it means panda. And I'm also importing something called matplotlib.pyplot, which is the plotting function or the plotting tool that will help me plot the charts, and I am calling it PLT. Okay, now after doing this, I click on this run. That's why cells in Colab are so powerful, because you write 2-3 lines and you run it. You don't have to write the whole program and then run the whole thing. The minute I see this green, that means it's run, everything is okay. Next one, I need to load the file from the drive or whatever it is into my notebook or into Colab. So this is the code to do it. I'm just going to click run. Let's see what happens. Okay, this generates and does not generate an error because I originally uploaded the file and the file is still there. If the file is not there, you need to upload it. How do you upload it? You click on this. You choose the file called sample data. In my case, if that is the file, and then it's there. If you need the path that is there to the file, you can actually, Google provides a very neat way of doing it, and that's clicking on the 3 dots of the file, copy path, you paste it there, you're good to go. Now when you paste it, I'll show you. I'll delete these and I will paste it. It doesn't have the single quotes on it. You have to add it yourself, because in coding, this is a tag, this is a string, and you need a single quote on it. So once I do this, I click run. Again, I'm doing this again just to show you how to get the path. And you see it has a green tick on it. That means everything is okay. Now, next one, if you remember in the pivot table in Excel and in Google Sheets, the same thing happened. We grouped the data by something. Well, guess what? The data frame, which is contains or is being used by the panda to load the whole Excel file into it. Okay, I will just give you a little bit more before that. So that data frame, I can do df, just type df and print it, and then it will show you all the data. That's, remember how many rows? 17 columns, 9,994 rows. They're all there. You don't see them, but they're all there. So I can just get the head, I can get the tail, I can get a lot more information about it. For example, I can say df.info. Okay, and that will give me just a bit of information about it. Or I can say describe like that about the DF, and this will give me something neat again for those of you who are the mathematicians. Give me the 25 first quartile, second quartile, last quartile. Give me standard deviation of all the values that are of a number type. If you notice, order date, it's actually a number, even though we don't think of it that way. Ship date, postal code, which doesn't make any sense for it to be getting it, but it does it. Sales, quantity, discount, profit. So I could have mean, min, max, count, first quartile, second quartile, third quartile, and the likes. Standard deviation of each and every one of them. This is automatically done just by typing describe. That's why we use a data frame. And there's another neat one called here. It's actually the attributes, and this is columns. So if I want to know what the columns are in my data frame, well, these are the columns that you've seen in your Excel file. They're there, just for reference. And important here, you need to pay attention to capitalization. So this is capital letter. Let's say customer name is capital C, capital N. You have to use capital C, capital M, otherwise it won't work. Okay, to generate the summary, which we did it in pivot table, there is something in the data frame called group by. And watch this. What this is saying is I want you to group by reason and get me the sum of profit. I hope that makes sense. This is saying group by region. Remember, we had a region there, and then I want you to get the total profit of every region. Okay, I click run on that. It should run, and then if I get another coding cell and I do group data and I just run that, it's going to show me that. That's exactly what we did there. That's the central, east, southwest, and the profit, the total profit for each one of them. Okay, that's simple enough. Now, another neat program with this, or neat, how should I say, tool, is the group by itself that I generated from the data frame. It gives me something inside of it called plot. Okay, now watch this. In this cell, I'm gonna run it, and then I'll show you what happened. Okay, click run. Now here we go. The file, the visualization has already been created. It's a line chart. I can change it, so I can go there and then just say, okay, give me a bar. Watch what I did. I changed the type from a line to a bar. If I run it again, here you go. It gave me a bar chart. Very nice one. Now, what I want to show you is there are a lot of charts in here. A lot. I want to use a for loop to try and produce all the charts in one chart, and then you can play around with it later. So in this visualizing the data, I'm going to make something called chart kind. Okay, and it's going to equal something. You will see what I mean in a second. Hold that thought. How do I know the chart kinds? If I type group data dot plot, and I'm going to go to help, and I open a bracket, group data, grouped underscore data dot plot, and I open the bracket. Watch what happens. As I hover over here, it's going to give me all the types, because it's saying here the kind is literal. I'm just going to choose that, select them all. This is my cheating. I'm going to copy it, and I'm going to take it over here and make it what? A list. Remember the list that we spoke about before? This is where we use it. Now, there is a problem with this. Again, I will come back to it. I'm going to delete the scatter, because the scatter, we cannot do it this way. I'll show you another way to do it in a second. And now I'm going to use my lovely, so I use this just to grab the chart types. Now I'm going to do for I in chart kind. What does that mean? I is going to be line, bar H, hist, box, all the way to the end. And now I'm going to have to put all of these in. Remember, the indentation is very important, and I need to change something. Instead of this being bar, I'm going to make it I, because now I is going to change from bar to bar H to hist all the way in. And instead of having this line here, I'm actually going to put plus I, and you will see what I mean there. Okay, so this is going to print every time it's printed, it's going to say total profit per region. First time it'll be line chart, second time it'll be bar chart, bar H total, all the way to the end. I'm going to leave the rest the same. You can play around with them, but then you'll see what's going to happen now, how many charts we're going to have. So if I click run, let's see. I'm hoping we're not going to have any errors. Okay, chart number 1. You see what we did? The exact same thing. We just put everything in a loop, and then I got one chart. Total profit, that's line. Bar, you notice they're changing. Bar H, hist, box, KDE, density, area, pi. This doesn't make any sense because pi. So some of them will not be suitable for it. So we'll go there. No issues. There's one more that it's complaining about. I think it's the hex bin or something. So I will delete that and run it again. So if I go back up there, I go back up to the coding one, and I delete the hex bin. I think that's the only one that it's complaining about, like that. Watch what I did. I changed the chart kind and I run again. And if I run again, I am going to have a green all the way. That means all the charts. And I just did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 charts, same command, no difference. Everything is there for me. Okay. One more thing, I spoke about the scatter. I need the DF columns, and then I'll show you how this is done. I need the columns just to tell you how I do the scatter. Okay, scatter charts are usually given between 2 number rows, number columns. Okay, I am going to make a scatter between quantity and discount. Okay, now the scatter here is different. I need to do df dot scatter, open bracket, and I need to give it the 2, which is X and Y, it's called. Quantity, comma, and then I'm going to do discount. If this does not work, I will go back and fix it and show you how it works. So if I do this scat, I believe I have to say plot, not scatter right away. Okay, there we go. Plot that scatter quantity. I put 2 dots, I believe. Just one plot, one brief. There you go. It's not. It doesn't make any sense. There's no correlation whatsoever. But this is how you would do it. In this case, I went directly from data frame dot plot dot scatter, and I gave it the 2 values. I could have changed this, of course, if I want to do profit instead of discount. Again, watch what I'm doing. Capitalization. There you go. Hopefully, this video was helpful. It was a bit long, but it covered all the visualizations that is needed using Python.